Avatars I've Loved Before by Erica Buist. She'd felt sheepish when she realised that her avatar had fallen in love with his. Her avatar was supposed to be more aloof than that, a persona reflected in a carefully chosen profile pic, an abundance of shiny curls falling loosely about the half-smile of someone who's thinking of a devastating joke. His avatar was a shot of him leaning on a door frame, staring into the camera with dark, ardent eyes the size of goddamn dinner plates. He was clad in a leather jacket over a t-shirt with the word atheist printed in tiny, bold letters. She ignored the fact that he was obviously smoulderingly attracted to whoever took the photo. In her hyper-romantic mind, he was a kind of human embodiment of London. He had the same raw, dishevelled, lung-blackening beauty and was usually wrapped in smoke. He too was exhausting, addictive, and exasperatingly easy to miss. Of course, their avatars had fallen into conversation. That was almost inevitable. They ran in similar online circles. Their bodies were both writers. He wrote darkly comic novels and fiery, funny Twitter threads. She wrote personal and cultural essays, the odd music review, and regularly found herself in a taxi headed for some BBC radio segment, her nerves fraying, while her avatar was very breezy about it all. Their avatars were both left-leaning and enjoyed brash and brilliant takedowns of the bad guys in their echo chamber, of course, which there were always plenty. Their humour tessellated. His avatar's verbose, meandering, Doug Stanhope-esque rants provided the perfect setup for hers to stroll in and topple the comic tension he'd constructed, which would invariably make his avatar reply, "Ha! I officially love you." What her avatar felt for his was, above all, embarrassing, because she assumed the attraction was to do with his talent, a stupid reason for anyone, since the ability to write good sentences is not sexually transmittable. Repressing it was much easier in the moments they weren't talking, because his avatar was, simply put, a flirt. He repeatedly told her he was enamoured with her voice. The first time she voice noted him, he only replied, "voice," with an emoji of a heart being pierced by an arrow. Though that was way back in the beginning, before they decided to invent their own emojis by typing them out. Like, house face and t-shirt emoji, infiniswoon emoji, and her personal favourite, writes your name on school folder emoji. Such a flirt, her avatar reminded herself. It's not real. It's not real. One morning, his avatar sent a message that simply read, "Which one? Heels?" It being so untethered to anything they'd been talking about, her avatar replied with a question mark. Him. "Oops. Sorry. That was meant for my mum." Her. "Confusing me with your mother. Okay, good. Excuse me while I fold up this red flag and put it away." Him. "Don't put it away. Wear it as a dress on our first date." Her. "Sure, great idea. That's not at all the kind of metaphor that opens a memoir." Him. "Ha ha ha! Oh God, stop making me love you." Her. No emoji. Emoji. The previous winter, his body had deleted all his social media accounts. Her avatar had missed his disproportionately to their level of interaction. After nearly a year of silence, his avatar re-emerged in her messages, told her he'd read her recently published book of essays, that he thought she was beautifully, fiercely talented, that he was in awe of her. Her avatar was bowled over by this news, more so when his avatar stuck around, buzzing her inbox with chat, jokes. Guess what happened to me today's? And after a few days of near constant interaction, astonishingly honest confessions of his avatar's total infatuation with hers. Their avatars drenched each other in delight. They talked about work and books and politics and films and travel and tattoos and idiots and everything, laughing and longing and studiously avoiding anything painful or too true from their bodies' real lives. His avatar joked that they should run away and get married on a Mexican beach during a hurricane and never leave. Their avatars rolled around in this daydream, topped it up and shaded it in with details. Look up Playa Ventura, just south of Acapulco. That's clearly the one. Check the hurricane schedule and meet me there. And remained untroubled by worries that bodies drag along with them, like the need for food and shelter, or indeed anything more than a hammock to fuck in. Her avatar noted with exasperation how much easier words came to his avatar than hers. It seemed unfair, since they both manipulated language for a living. His avatar typed like a man with nothing to lose. You are astonishing. I am obliterated by how incredible you are. I am humiliatingly fucking besotted with you. Just put it out, as if feelings had no consequences. Her avatar was hamstrung. Her responses got caught in her body's fingers at that damn junction between her first and second knuckle. Did they even make sense? The images he provoked in her. An eyelid fluttering on a full lower lip. Sweat spraying off a guitarist as he strikes across the frets. Her avatar couldn't type. You make me feel like a Foo Fighters chord change. But that's exactly how she would have said, I love you, if she could. Their bodies met outside a cafe in Charing Cross Road, fully prepared to destroy what their avatars had built. He'd probably drink coffee weirdly, her body figured, and maybe wouldn't even find her attractive without all the Insta filters. She barely registered his face, so familiar from all the Good Morning selfies before his arms wrapped around her, a heady scent of cigarettes and sandalwood enveloping her, just exactly as she imagined it would. Her blood lit up, and it sped up, and her avatar smiled. Hi, he whispered into her hair. Hi, she whispered back. His body held hers as if they were falling. She noted the faint thud of his heart on her front. She went to kiss him on the cheek, but forgot to pull out the hug first, so planted it softly on his neck. She stepped back, blushing, trying to style it out, as if her own heart was behaving normally, not trying to pummel out of the chest and jump him. Goddamn nympho organ. His body did not drink coffee weirdly, and did not seem in the least disappointed in her body's face. Conversation flowed as it always had online, as if their avatars were speaking through them. Like his avatar, his body seemed to grant escape to every thought, as if there were little distinction between their importance and effect. He said she was beautiful, hilarious, talented, and look at the ridiculous way they described the coffees on this menu. She suggested they pool their literary talents and co-write a better one, to which he breezily replied, well, I want to co-write the rest of my life with you, but sure, let's start with the menus. She laughed, shook her head, and with far more affection than she meant to show, said, you're an idiot. All the while, her left hand rested on the table, and they both ignored her wedding ring, sitting there like an item on an agenda, pushed late in the meeting. He put down his drink, and for barely a second, his fingers touched hers. She whipped her hand away in panic. I came to humanize you, she stammered, and met his eyes. They were enormous. God fucking damn it! His pupils dilated. They kept doing that. Was I not human to you? He asked, confused. I just needed to be in a room with you just to know that it's just She cringed, covered her eyes, and told her palms the stupid thing she knew to be true. I think our avatars might be in love. She moved her hands to her cheeks, and her gaze clicked back into place with his. He tilted his head and said, gently, as if trying not to break anything, avatars. And for 4 minutes, their bodies stirred. Their avatars screamed at every pulse, every exquisite, life-ruining beat of it. Silence tortures avatars. In the 4th minute, a crisp jolt of panic raced through her body and she pushed her chair back. His body darted forward and took her forefinger between his finger and his thumb. The cafe froze around them, tumbled into 2 dimensions. He'd found the pause button for time and space, just between her first and second knuckle. The people around them became a painted scene, their sipping and smiling suspended, the steam blasting from the milk frother, a smatter of oil on canvas. Her eyes darted to the brushstrokes of the door, now impossible to walk through. Their avatars sent holds your hand emojis and waited to be torn apart. His body stepped towards hers, interlaced their fingers, and ruined everything. Avatars can't be in love, he said. That's not a thing. The paint evaporated, and they fell through the floor. The cafe clattered back to life, and London rattled into rubble around their heads. Her veins stretched and sang and vibrated as their bodies vaporized and curled into a tornado beneath the city, heading down, down, down. Their avatars blinked. With their bodies absent, the silence was theirs to fill. Him. Are they coming back? Her. I don't know. She said we're in love. He said we can't be. Are we, do you think? Not without them, surely. You know he can't just say it. Say what? What do you think? Leave him? Be with me? Right. I love you. I'm in love with you. Okay? I get it. Marry me in a Mexican hurricane? All right. I get it. There was a torture pause. She won't do it, will she? Torture pause. Hell silence. Okay. I'm sorry. It's okay. The words "don't go" refused to pass her fingers, so her avatar whispered them inaudibly to herself. Can I at least tell you once, without the quotation marks? No, don't. His avatar typed, deleted, went offline, came back online, typed, deleted, and typed. I am. I do. I'm sorry. Her body woke up, cracked and whole, in the fetal position, in 3 dimensions, in her own comfy bed. She reached for her phone like a junkie for a needle and looked for his avatar. It was blank, an empty circle without a name. The messages were all still there, but without his avatar beside them, they seemed hollow. tragic. Memories made bitter. He was gone again. Her chest emptied out through the puncture, and she hoped, stupidly, far too romantically, that his body had been wrong, that avatars can be in love, and that theirs had just run away together to some magical, far-off place free of eye contact and silence. And because heartbreak just adds pain to our routines, she opened Twitter. She scrolled slowly, mindlessly, the news of the day dripping down the screen like tar. She stopped on a minor story, clasped her phone as she read it again. It was about a community centre on the western coast of Mexico, in Playa Ventura, just south of Acapulco. They were holding an impromptu slumber party to provide shelter and a way to pass the hours during a small but bothersome hurricane heading right for them.